Hi, welcome back to my channel. So I want to talk about Raneka and Asonta. So after dragging out Raneka pulling up at Asonta's hotel for what seems like weeks now, we finally got to see Raneka confront Asonta. I was starting to think it was never going to happen. So her and the PI were sitting in the car after the private investigator grilled the front desk clerk at the hotel. And at first, the front desk clerk wasn't trying to come off any info, but the private investigator was being relentless. So finally, the hotel clerk was like, I'm just trying to get rid of this dude. And he said if there was Asonta, then he'd be in room 403. So the PI asked Raneka if she wanted him to join her to go up to the room with her. And she said she was cool and she would go alone. But if that was me, you don't know what's behind that door, especially when you just come walking up to other people's places unannounced like that. And obviously, I think they try to make it look like Asonta was by himself and blindsided and had no idea what was going on. But of course, he knew what was going on because as soon as Raneka popped in, he was mic'd up and there was already a cameraman in the room. So I feel like he knew what was coming. I was honestly shocked he opened the door. It's probably up to him. He probably wouldn't even opened it. But the producers were probably like, hey man, you should probably give the girl some closure. And when he opened the door, he was actually alone. And I'm sure Asonta did that on purpose. He probably sent his girl off to the store to go get some Swishers and Funyuns, so he didn't have his girl be all up in the mix. I'm just so curious what his girlfriend's thoughts are on Raneka now that they know about each other. And obviously she doesn't have an issue with it because she's still messing with the dude. So I think this whole time Raneka has been kind of living in denial. Like, I think she's been trying to make excuses for Asonta in her head. But once she walked into that room and she could tell it was lived in, and not only lived in, but it was obviously lived in with a girl, not only Asonta, you could tell in that moment Raneka finally knew what it was. For a moment, she looked like she wanted to sock Asonta. But I think, for the most part, how she handled Asonta, I think she handled it well. Asonta was just sitting there awkwardly, scratching his head. And you could tell Raneka was hurt because you could tell Asonta wasn't bothered. He didn't seem to care at all when she was visibly hurt. She was in tears. She was shattered. And he wasn't trying to explain himself, say sorry. He was just unbothered. So Raneka was smart. She's like, I cannot even look you in the eyes right now. Because that has to hurt, because that's her closure right there. Him showing that he doesn't even want to fight for her relationship. And Asonta didn't give a damn. He wasn't trying to explain himself or tell her where he's been or why he's in this hotel room. And Raneka also said on a live in the past that she's like, oh, I don't even know why I was with Asonta. I just thought he was really hot and fine. And I think that's another reason that Raneka didn't want to look him in the eyes, because she didn't want her lust to draw her back in and give him a second chance that he didn't deserve. I thought Raneka was a lot calmer with Asonta than I expected her to be. I figured Diva Nika was about to come out and pop off, but Raneka remained composed for the most part as Asonta was trying to tell Raneka, oh, nobody's perfect. It's like, yeah, nobody's perfect, but at the same time, choosing to have 3 girlfriends, that is a choice. So Raneka was like, yeah, but you didn't have to lead me on. You didn't have to have me and my kids move out to Georgia to be with you when you didn't want to be with me, when you weren't even taking me seriously. And I think this man has to be a narcissist, because he did not even show an ounce, a slither of sympathy whatsoever for this girl and what he's put her through. And so Asonta, he didn't have an argument, so he just kept playing dumb to everything and tried to tell Raneka that she didn't have to move down here, that was all on her, she didn't have to do any of this. At this point, it was pretty obvious that Asonta was not going to take any accountability. He was just gaslighting her left and right. And see, Pinocchio, every time he tells a lie, his nose gets bigger and bigger. And every time Asonta tells a lie, his eyes start looking all over the place, left, right, up and down. And he starts blinking a million times a minute over and over again. And Raneka even called him out about it. She's like, man, I can tell you're lying right now because you cannot stop blinking. And he could not stop blinking. And honestly, as I was looking closer, It looked like he may have been on something. That's just my personal opinion, because we've seen Asante lie plenty of times, like when he said he wanted to spend the rest of his life with Raneka, but he wasn't doing all that blink and stuff then. And it's just like, it just seems like he just got busted with a gang of drugs back in June, and when he passed away, he got busted with a bunch of drugs on him, and he seemed like he was on some downers, and he was fighting like hell to keep his eyes open and keep his composure. If you ever been on pills or H, then you know what I'm talking about. But I instantly recognized it because my mom, back when I used to do drugs years ago, she used to call me out for that same thing. Because when I tried to look straight in front of her, I would try my hardest to keep a straight face and keep my eyes open so I didn't look like I was under the influence. But the whole time I would be blinking because I was fighting it. And she'd be like, why the hell are you blinking so much? So I just thought it was funny when she said that, because it brought back old memories. That would also make sense if that was the case. That could be another reason why he was avoiding filming for the show anymore and trying to hide out. So Raneka was like, man, I can't even look at you, and I hope that I don't come across another dude like you in my life. She walked off. She was crying. She was heartbroken. She went out in the hallway and she was talking about how Asante is a habitual liar. Things will never work because he can't tell the truth. And the producers sat Asante down, started grilling him, and they're like, okay, what's the tea? Tell us what's really going on and who's staying with you. And Asante was like, oh, nothing's going on, just playing dumb. But the producers weren't going to let him try to treat them like they were stupid. They're like, okay, so you left at 5:30 in the morning to go to your aunt's house? That's what he was trying to tell them. And he's like, yeah, I went to my aunt's house at 5:30 in the morning to get my phone. Like, he reiterated it like that was going to make more sense and make it more believable. But it just made him sound even more like he was lying. And the producers were like, okay, man, just keep it real with us. So Asante was like, okay, yeah, I have another girlfriend on the side. Actually, I got 3 girlfriends in total. And so he said, look, I love me some women. And even Red was saying that. He's like, I love me some women. I've been around men for the longest, so now I just want to get out and hang out with different women. He says that he's got his baby mama that he messes with. He's got another girl, and then he's got Raneka. And now that Raneka left him, I wonder if he meant like 3 girlfriends in total with Raneka, or 3 girlfriends on top of Raneka. So he straight up admitted that he's a cheater and that he's messing with another girl on top of the other girl he's messing with. And then he blamed it all on his daddy. He said, yeah, that's what my daddy taught me. My daddy always had multiple women in his life. So that was his example growing up. So that's all he knows. So even if this man was still alive today, I feel like he probably would never change, because that's all he's had to look up to. And his dad just probably had multiple women. He just looks at women as a means to help him get by. And that's what it really seems like he's trying to do. It doesn't seem like he was trying to get a job or worry about any of his priorities. It just looked like he was trying to find other women to take care of him, like Raneka said. And she's like, yeah, I am not about to be no sugar mama. So Raneka went out to the hallway and she was like, look, I'm a boss, B-word. I don't need to put up with this. But at the same time, you can't really be talking about how you're a boss while you're sitting in this dark corner in this hotel hallway, like still talking about this man. Like, if you're a boss, put your chin up and keep it moving and don't look back, because this man does not deserve any more of your precious energy. He doesn't seem to care. And she's starting to realize that everybody who's been warning her this whole time has been completely right. I think that's who she's the most mad at the end of the day, is truly herself. I'm glad that she walked away, though, and didn't let this man continue to try to feed her lies or decide to try to believe him. I'm glad she was smart enough to be like, okay, this man is full of BS. And hopefully this is the end of the road for the two of them. But I am curious, because I was looking on her Instagram page, and just a few weeks ago, she was sharing some pictures she had with Asante in memory of his passing. And a few of the pictures she posted had Asante in a black t-shirt like this in the passenger seat of her car, sleeping as she was driving. And I went back and I compared the outfit he was wearing in the car with her when he first got out of prison, and that wasn't the outfit, you know. And from what we know, what we're being told on the show is he only spent, you know, less than 9 hours with her before he dipped out and was calling another girl, and he's been MIA since. So pay close attention. This is the outfit he wore out of prison. Then when he got to Raneka, she took off his jacket thing he was wearing, the little blue thing he was wearing, took off his shirt, and then he put it back on, put on a black hoodie, and he left Raneka's. And then Raneka posted this picture of her and Asonta where he's wearing a black shirt. And I'm just like, when was this taken? Because obviously this wasn't the first night that he got out, and her hair is completely different. She's rocking the brown hair. She doesn't have that green wig. So this is obviously after. So I'm curious if he went running back and she ends up giving him another chance, or maybe they're just friends. I don't know. But I definitely thought that was interesting and worth pointing out. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. Check out my lashes and cosmetics at AccordingtoAmber.com. I just restocked more of my color changing lip gloss, and I have a buy one lash, get one free sale currently going on until Halloween. While supplies last, all you have to do is use code BOGO, all capital letters, and all the information will be in the description. So check that if you're interested. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.